So the Chicago Bears just got even more disturbing news following this Green Bay loss. And there are some positive signs for the Chicago Bears in the first game since Thomas Brown was promoted as an offensive coordinator. There's a lot to get into with that that's positive. There was also just another heartbreaking ending. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. And the worst news out of all this is that the Bears have a legit argument that the Green Bay game, it was stolen from them. Oh, man. This just makes this loss that much worse. So there was an obvious officiating mistake on the blocked field goal that broke the hearts of Bears fans, including yours truly. So the real question is, was the decision making leading up to that kick, is that a reason to fire Coach Flus immediately? I'm going to get into that. And also, should we even be complaining about this no call at this point? Let's start with the no call on the final play, and you guys can let me know what you think. So the Bears have turned the play into the league to examine what the Packers did. Looking back, it's pretty obvious a rule explanation has to be made to them. Even an apology might be issued to the Bears, although they won't get one publicly. But it's not like baseball. Nothing's going to get overturned. So the rule in question, by rules, referees should have called an illegal leverage penalty on a final play on the Packers, and the Bears should have gotten another opportunity. So under NFL rules, a center who is attempting a snap during a field goal attempt, he's considered to be in a defenseless posture. And I'm going to go to this story on A to Z Sports. They break it down really, really well. So the center in this play is supposed to be considered to be in a defenseless posture and any unnecessary contact on a defenseless player is considered to be a penalty of 15 yards and an automatic first down. And here's how the NFL defines the leveraging penalty and when it should be called by officials on the field. This is their communication with officials. A defensive player jumping or standing on a teammate or an opponent to block or attempt to block an opponent's kick. And all these things happen on this play. Bears long snapper Patrick Scales, he was immediately knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Packers Carl Brooks and TJ Slayton. Once again, it's illegal to make contact with a long snapper when their head is down, as they are considered defenseless, and players are also not permitted to use an offensive player as leverage while blocking. The Green Bay Packers did both. And if a penalty was called, the Bears would have been moved up, and kicker Cairo Santos would have had another chance to win the game for his team. And we're looking at in 10 games, Santos is 14 of 17 in field goals made and 16 of 17 in extra points made. He's 2 of 4 in field goals between 40 and 49 yards. So take those stats how you will. And we're looking at Chicago's final drive. It went for 7 plays, 42 yards to set up this field goal attempt, and we came away empty once again. What makes it even worse, leverage calls on field goals, they're an emphasis. They've been made an emphasis to NFL officials this year, and the worst part of all this is that the Bears, they got flagged for a way less obvious leverage penalty against the Arizona Cardinals in Week 9. That allowed the Cardinals to score a touchdown after getting awarded a first down. It was a pivotal play during that game at the time that it happened. It's not why the Bears lost. I'm not going to go that far. So what do we do with this? I mean, to me, that makes this loss even that much worse to stomach, but it's just filed into the woulda, shoulda, coulda file, and it's a thick file pertaining to Green Bay games in particular. The Packers even talked about how they scouted the Bears having a low trajectory on longer kicks, and they practiced taking advantage of that particular weakness. Also, Green Bay players were reportedly absolutely shocked that the Bears didn't at least try to make it a shorter kick. That's exactly what the focus should be here on this channel, and I'm going to get to it. And Coach Eberflus, he once again mismanaged the end of a game. I think this may have been the difference once again between winning or losing. So Chicago's final drive, 7 plays for 42 yards to set up the field goal attempt. Caleb Williams Best game as a pro against an elite defense this time. He absolutely willed his way out of a 3rd and 19 situation after 2 consecutive sacks. Even Tom Brady was impressed with his performance during his game coverage. So a quarterback has a defense on their heels, right? A game-winning situation. And instead of continuing to be aggressive, right? Instead of dictating the action to the defense, a team absolutely desperate for a win here for so many reasons, even because it's against this particular opponent. Coach Eberflus gets scared. He goes conservative. He lets the clock tick down, and he doesn't make any attempt whatsoever to improve on the kicking defense for Santos. And then on top of it, once again, Coach Eberflus makes a bad decision. He doubles down. He doubles down on his weak coaching decision. And regardless of Green Bay breaking the rules, which they did, 15 yards closer, that lifts the trajectory of the kick, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation if that play was called properly. But also, give your team a chance to make the kick easier. And he just failed on both. So hearing from Flus, this is regarding the play. He said they should have had a chance to redo this kick. They cited that a penalty was committed by Green Bay on the final play of the game. And Eberflus said that he's going to turn this into the league office. He believes the Packers were on our long snapper. No flag was called. I mean, that's well and good. This is the most infuriating thing, right? 1st and 10 at the Packers 30. 35 seconds left. The giddiness, the celebration of Soldier Field, it was absolutely palpable. So naturally, Coach Flus once again decides to stay conservative. 1 timeout left in his pocket, the opportunity to advance the ball forward. He called for only 1 running play to Roschon Johnson, a play that shortened the game, decided field goal attempt by just 2 yards. But then he sat on his hands, waited for the time to click all the way down. And here's what you get. And like my mom said, this is why we can't have nice things. Let's hear Eberflus defend this decision, and I've kind of just had enough here. I mean, where the conditions were and where we were in the game, I'd do the same thing again. I mean, would you like to be closer? Yeah, sure. We'd like it to be at the 15-yard line, but it was where it was. You could have done a bunch of different things here. In my opinion, do any of these, Coach Flus. You could have run a pass. You could have run an outside play. You could have ran another play that we punched it forward for 2 yards from the 30 to the 28. So again, if that thing breaks for a couple yards, it's definitely a positive. But that's what it is. And I'm just done with this coach. He just isn't what's needed for this team. Constant mismanagement, just no killer instinct. And if you watch the game that John Harbaugh coached. This is what good coaches do. Similar situation. Instead of sitting on his hands, instead of lacking aggression, he instead kept the foot on the gas, and it resulted in a running play by J.K. Dobbins going the distance for a touchdown, put any question of the game not being seated away at rest. He put it to bed right there by continuing to be aggressive. That's what good coaches do, and we just do not have one. So I want to leave with a positive. I always try to. Eberflus was correct in something. He emphasized that there were encouraging signs in this loss. New offensive coordinator Thomas Brown. He propelled the Bears to 391 total yards in his first game calling plays. He did a fantastic job. He got the offense into a flow, and that hasn't existed in a very long time. Even during our win streak, it wasn't this good as far as play calling. 3 losses, absolutely lackluster. And Williams wasn't absolutely Patrick Mahomes, but he was in a much better rhythm too. He threw for 231 yards and rushed for 70 more. Eberflus close was saying he played well today. He played winning football. And you guys, it's just so frustrating to have these coaching decisions dictating the ends of games. Once again, this year, we're getting close to the same breakdowns at the end of the game that we experienced last year. And even though I love Coach Eberflus, I love him as a man. I think he's a very good man. I think he's a kind man. I think he's actually a good motivator of players. You just can no longer have this for a team that's supposed to be ascending. I think it's time to just get rid of him right now and get him away from the team, get a new voice, get our coach Eric Washington in to finish out the season, even bring up Hightower as special teams coordinator to be the final voice of this team. I just think it's time to make the move. But hey, don't want to call for anyone's job. I think he's definitely out during the offseason. The matter of the decision is if it should be made right now. So you guys let me know in the comments, as you always do. Bear down, and hey, we're going to recover for this, and we got to get ready for Minnesota. See you guys later.